trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Put my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Put my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Put my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your Daily Vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so already, be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time Queen Goddess goes live. All right, let's get ready to get into it. All right. Here we are again, beloveds. Here we are again. All right, Mr. Elevation, Deronda. Let's get into it. Buckhurst, DC, DJ, The Truth TV. All right, Claudette. Queen Koya is here. Okay. So shout out to all of my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen. All right, Reggie is in the virtual building. All right, let's get into it. Most hated bronze flat power guide. All right, Desmond. Shout out to my moderators. You know, they'll be putting in work. The lovely T, Nessa G. All right, Jeff ATL. All right. So with that all being said, shout out to everyone in the chat, everyone tuned into the Queen. All right. And a big shout out to my moderators. Now, thank you, Jeff, okay, for being a YouTube member. I appreciate you, beloved. Peace, love, and blessings. We the people is here. Emperor Rex. All right. So before we get started, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
So don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes Hair Oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com. And don't forget that she sells beard oil as well. Okay, so now, I don't think I'm going to do the morning wake-up call tomorrow morning because I have a meeting. Okay, I have a business meeting, so about 10:30. So with that all been said, I'll probably come on tomorrow afternoon. I could get up extra early, but I don't think so. Okay? I don't think so. So I think I'll just be here tomorrow afternoon. All right. So with that all being said, just check the channel around maybe 12:30 or 1. Okay, I should be going live around then. Now, that being said, let's get ready to get into it. Hold on just a second. Okay. Okay, so before we get started, does anyone have any questions, comments, or snide remarks? Okay, I'll take that as a no. Let's get into it. Now, listen, y'all. Partly low Kristi Noem has been replaced. Okay, they said she's been replaced. Now they're saying she's fired, but the administration has come out and said that basically, she's not being fired. She's being moved to a different position. That's fired to me. Okay, that's fired. Now let's get into this because I want to show you all what Satan Yahoo had to say. I mean, they're not even hiding it anymore at this point. Who's running what? And I also want to go to these characters praying for Trump. Now, people praying over the Antichrist is diabolical to me. Okay, that's crazy work. So let's go to that first. Okay, that's right, Reggie. Shout out to the replay gang. All right, let's get into it. Here we go.
We are honored to come before your presence today, lifting up the arms of our president. We pray for your continued blessing and favor to rest upon him. We pray for wisdom from heaven to flood his heart, his mind, and Lord, you will guide him in these challenging times that we're facing today. I pray for your grace and your protection over him. I pray for your grace and protection over our troops and all of our men and women serving in our armed forces. And Father, we just pray you'll continue to give our president the strength that he needs to lead our great nation as we come back to one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We pray your heavenly blessing upon him in Jesus' name. Amen. We are honored to come before your presence today, lifting up.
Y'all heard that? First of all, let me just say, asking for wisdom from heaven. Honey, heaven don't know anything about Trump. Okay, heaven doesn't know anything about Trump. Second of all, I find it interesting they said to pray for these perilous times, or however they phrased it, and pray for the soldiers. Well, that's interesting that they're asking for prayers because Trump's the one that has us in these times that we're currently in, perilous times, okay, downtrodden times, hard times, struggle times, and he's also the one that has the military soldiers in danger. So I'm sorry, please make it all make sense. Don't pray for him, pray for them, okay? Pray for them. But while we're talking about praying, I just couldn't resist. I absolutely could not resist. The foolishness continues.
Mahanda rabosoko, mahanda akasata, reke yamanda raboko sokota, ronda yakande eke seke la mama manda rabakase, meta rabakande la babakaso, yalamananya nano, sakayato yakande, amakato yabatadia city akano yakatara city. Power! Mahanda rabosoko, mahanda akasata.
Honey, the performative. Okay, the performativeness of it. Oh, I absolutely cannot. Honey, it sounded like she was calling on whole demons. It sounded like she was trying to conjure up Lucifer himself. Okay, if I'd have been sitting in the congregation, I surely would have run. Okay, I surely would have run. Look at Kristi Noem. Remembering the good times. Now, I'm not going to play the audio.
Your love.
Hold on. In the worst of times, they say. Bye, Kristi. I absolutely cannot. Okay. So Kristi's out. Mark Wayne Mullen is in, and he's likely no better. But I want you all to listen to Satan Yahoo here.
ביום השישי של מבצע שאגת הארי, אני פה בבסיס חיל האוויר בדרום הארץ, עם הטייסים המופלאים שלנו ושל ארצות הברית וצוותי הקרקע המסורים. שיתוף הפעולה הוא היסטורי בין צבא ארצות הברית לצה"ל, בין חיל האוויר לחיל האוויר האמריקני. אנחנו ממשיכים להלום במטרות משטר הטרור באיראן, וגם מול גורמי הטרור בלבנון, וההישגים הם גדולים, אבל המלאכה עוד מרובה. אני רוצה שוב להודות לידידי הנשיא טראמפ על שיתוף הפעולה בינינו, בין ישראל וארצות הברית. יחד נמשיך ויחד נשיג את המשימות שלנו, בעזרת השם.
Now, as we sit here and look at this devil, because that's what he is, as we sit here and look upon this face of this demon, let us not forget that he is currently being charged with crimes against humanity, war crimes, and the like. And it is Trump, okay, y'all's president, who has begged like a dog, okay, Isaac Herzog, the Israeli president, to grant him a full pardon. Okay, so that just lets you know. Okay, that just lets you know. Now, with that all being said, here's something else I thought you might find of interest. Hold on. Now, this right here is Kristi Noem. The first picture is Governor Kristi Noem and her friend Rocky Hayes, who was arrested last year for possessing videos depicting children being R-worded. Okay, and then it says the second picture is Governor Kristi Noem and Joel Koskin, a former South Dakota legislative candidate who pleaded guilty to 2 counts of incest involving a family member, R-worded his own teenage daughter, and accused of sexual grooming behavior. The third picture is Kristi Noem and her close friend Denny Stanford, who had child porn found in an email account linked to him. How many coincidences do we need? Okay, this is what I'm talking about here. All right. These are the people in Trump's own administration. I mean, if I'm just keeping it a buck, they look like the usual suspects, do they not? They look like the usual suspects, but hold on, let's not stop there, because we know that Trump also has a close proximity to BS and PDF files. Here is a man who was part of the January 6th riot. Okay, Trump pardoned him. And this is just one of a few that he pardoned that had these types of allegations.
The sentence as to count 1 of life in prison, as to count 2, 15 years, Florida Department of Corrections, as to count 3, 5 years, Florida Department of Corrections, as to count 4, 15 years, Florida Department of Corrections, as to count 5, 15 years, Florida Department of Corrections, and as to count 6, you were found not guilty. And the court finds that you qualify as a sexual predator, and I'm going to designate you as such.
I love you, son. I'm sorry, man.
Don't try to be sorry now, yikes. I hope they give him this right kind of justice when he gets to prison too, devil. Okay, devil. And here's what it says. I'm sorry, man. At Hernando County, a Hernando County handyman was sentenced to life in prison for arresting 2 children. He was convicted of storming the Capitol January 6th, but was pardoned by Trump. Okay, that's what y'all's presidents out here doing. Okay, please miss me with it. Now, hold on. One more thing. These people here talking about how their ancestors ate black folk. I guess they didn't know about it.
What? Cannibalism is not illegal in the United States, with the exception of one state.
What?
The only state in the United States where cannibalism is illegal is the state of Idaho.
Are you kidding me?
No.
I am not leaving my house today.
White people have always indulged in cannibalism. They ate their slaves and they ate black people that were free after the Emancipation Proclamation, after lynchings.
Honey, that's nothing new. So she didn't know that? Okay, she needs to go check her family tree because I'm sure somebody in her family was eating black people 9 times out of 10.
We have an important update right now. The Justice Department has published the 3 interviews between a woman who accused Donald Trump of abusing her when she was a child and the FBI. These interviews were previously withheld by the Justice Department. Now CNN has confirmed they are on the Justice Department's website. I found them. I read through them. We're going to go through them together. One caveat before I go any further: it's unclear whether or not the FBI continued this investigation. It's not known what the FBI's finding was as a result of this investigation. And as a result, we don't know whether they've been corroborated or not. These are the raw FBI 302 interviews. The first interview, which was the lengthy one, was conducted on August 22nd, 2019. In this interview, this woman says that Jeffrey Epstein introduced her to Donald Trump between the ages of 13 to 15 years old. She was, quote, introduced to someone with money. It was Donald Trump. Apparently, Trump did not like that she was a tomboy. And then this is the accusation that she makes against Donald Trump, saying that Trump mentioned something to the effect of, let me teach you how little girls are supposed to be. He then unzipped his pants and put her head down. Trump struck her and said to the words to the effect of, get this little the hell out of here. Further along in the interview, this woman also says that she knew that Donald Trump knew of Epstein's blackmail of other people. This was the first interview of 3 that were conducted. The second one was conducted later in August and the third in October. These interviews were previously withheld from the public. We now have them. There are more documents that the Justice Department also published. I'm going to continue going through them. I'll let you know what I find. And I won't stop until all the victims, all the survivors, get justice and accountability. Spread the word. Follow for more.
Okay, so there we have the 3 interviews that I told you all were missing because I already read to you one of them that was in the previous dump of files. And so, in my opinion, the only reason they're dumping these files is because they've subpoenaed Pam Bondi. Okay. That's what she's done. She's gone ahead and dumped these files, and I'm going to be digging all up and through them tonight. And so tomorrow I will have you all the latest information on what's going on here. Okay, I've been busy today, so I haven't gotten into it yet, but trust me, I absolutely will. Now, the next thing I want to show you all is this. Honey, when I tell you how all hell would have broken loose, so let me just tell you here. This Karen, listen to this. They say this Karen took a black baby. Now, I don't know if it's literally a baby or just a black child or whatever, but they say she took this black baby and threw it in the water. Okay? That's what it says. This woman walked up and grabbed a black baby and threw him in a public pool. Now, when the father confronted her after having to jump in to save the child, she acted as, I didn't try to do anything. First of all, bitch, where are you putting your hands on anybody's kid? Can you imagine if I were to go to a pool or any of you were to go to a pool and pick up some white child that you don't even know, toss it in the pool? Are you kidding me? Who does that? These people are so entitled, these racist demons and devils, and think they can just put their hands on black people's children. When I tell you, I would have been in jail, I'm so sure, because the knots that would have been upside her head. But let's continue. Now, I don't condone violence except in defense. But if I had seen that, I would have sworn she's trying to murder the child.
Without permission, you took their child and threw him in the pool.
I tossed him in the pool a couple feet, yeah.
This lady picked up my baby and just threw him in the water. I'm like, oh, I'm like, do you know her? Like, no. I'm like, can your baby swim? She's like, no, my baby's a baby. She just picked him up and threw him in no regard.
Is that like wrong? You know, law against that?
Yeah, well, you can't like grab. You can't describe somebody's child.
I didn't do it with bad intentions.
You know, my son can't swim. Oh, he can swim. I'm like, no, ma'am, he can't. I'm his dad. I would know if he can swim or not. She grabbed.
First of all, how is she going to tell him that he can swim? He said, my son can swim. She said, oh, yeah, he can swim. How the hell would she know? Do you all see that? Like, this is, honey, when I tell you this is so infuriated on a whole nother level, thank God I never came across any of these people when my sons were little.
She took him and she threw him out of the pool across the field, and she's like, you go get him.
I don't have anything to explain.
I mean, so you don't know why you did that?
For fun. I didn't actually get pre-permission. Did you get permission from your parents to come out here today and talk to me?
I did, actually.
Oh, you did? Oh, did you?
No, I didn't.
Oh, see? Oh, my gosh.
But I'm a grown man.
You broke the law.
But I'm a grown man. She's like, I don't see what the problem is. I don't see what the problem is. Picking up a complete stranger's baby and throwing him into the pool. She's like, well, he ain't complaining. I'm like, the baby? Would you want press charges for throwing your kid in the pool? I mean, I don't really care, but if you put your hand on a kid against their will, that is a crime in this law. I'm talking.
Look what they've done.
No, ma'am.
Hold on. Let me tell y'all something that's pissing me off right here. Why? Buckhurst DC, what the hell is funny? Please don't let me go off on you, okay? Please don't do it. What is wrong with you, Buckhurst DC? Do you find that funny? Because I sure as hell don't. Let me tell you all something. What's also pissing me off is how the officers are talking to her so cavalierly and so nonchalantly, and one of them's damn laughing. What the hell is funny? She would be charged with attempted murder if that were my child. They wouldn't have any choice but to charge her with that, okay? Because the show I would have put on when they got there, okay? It's attempted murder. The child couldn't swim and she threw him into the water and it's a baby? Yeah, you better charge her with attempted murder. Okay, that's what you better charge her with. All right, please. Laughing and asking dumbass questions like, do you want to press charges? Why do you think he called the police? Yeah, he wants to press charges, fool. Okay, see, this is the thing right here. These police will sit there and coddle these white devils who do these kinds of things, these racist demons. That's what they'll do. They'll coddle them and talk to them about on a first name basis and be so nice and sweet to them. But you get pulled over at a traffic stop where you haven't even violated a law, a simple infraction, and they're going to get out of the car talking to you crazy and disrespectfully. Okay.
You did this yourself. They didn't even want to press charges, but we got to identify you. So you're at least going to jail for resisting now?
Baby, when I tell you how hands would be laid, oh, crazy. Okay. Let me continue, honey, because I tell you, stuff like this is really ticks me off. Sitting there talking to her all nice like it's just a joke. It's not a damn joke. You put your hands on somebody's kid, honey, I don't see any damn thing funny. But what I also don't see funny, let's get into it. Okay, now, here's the thing. It has come to my attention that Nancy Mace has called for Jay-Z to be dragged into the Epstein investigation and wants him to testify before Congress. Now, I'm going to tell you why I have a problem with that. Say what you want to say about Jay-Z. Here's my problem. First of all, the info in the Epstein files about Jay-Z was minuscule. Jay-Z was not accused of anything. The fact that they say he was there when Harvey Weinstein R-worded someone is not even verified. It came from a tip line. There's much more significant and credible allegations against these white men. They're not being called to testify, mainly your presidents. But here's the thing about Nancy Mace that ticked me off even more so. She wants to call out Jay-Z and say he needs to be brought before Congress to testify, but then she says the Epstein files exonerated Trump. She said Trump didn't do anything. That's what she said. Now, how does that sit with you? How does that sit with you? Now, I'm not saying Jay-Z's not a whole devil. I don't know if he is or not. But what I do know is Trump damn sure is, period. So she doesn't think Trump needs to be brought in for questioning. She thinks that anything in those files exonerated Trump. But Jay-Z's the one that needs to come and answer. Girl, if you don't sit down somewhere, Nancy Mace, okay? Let's talk about it. Hip-hop mogul Jay-Z is facing renewed public scrutiny after a member of Congress publicly called for his testimony in connection with the ongoing review of files tied to Jeffrey Epstein. According to a March 4th report by All Hip Hop, Representative Nancy Mace publicly demanded that the music executive testify regarding his alleged connection to the Epstein files. There's not one accusation in there of any one of the witnesses or victims accusing Jay-Z of anything, let me just say, but there's a myriad of them accusing President Trump. Now, the South Carolina Republican posted on X that Jay-Z's name has surfaced in newly reviewed federal materials, intensifying calls on Capitol Hill for expanded disclosures and potential questioning of prominent figures linked to the case. So in the public post, Mace wrote, Mr. Chairman is a solid start. The Oversight Committee, however, needs to bring in more individuals to more thoroughly continue the Epstein investigation. Here's my initial list, including your 7, but not including those already deposed. The post then listed several names, including Jay-Z. All Hip Hop reported that Jay-Z has never been charged with any crime. His name allegedly appeared through unverified public submissions, not criminal indictments or charging documents. And the federal docket in the Southern District of New York contains 0 references to him as a defendant or a co-conspirator. Despite that, political momentum appeared to build. Despite that, the outlet noted that Mace signaled additional witnesses could face congressional subpoenas if lawmakers deemed it necessary. Mace's involvement in high-profile entertainment cases is not new. She had already talked about the court case involving rapper Tory Lanez, who was found guilty of shooting Megan Thee Stallion in 2020. All Hip Hop says that Lanez ran out of legal options when the California Supreme Court turned down his last appeal in February of 2026. This kept his 10-year prison sentence in place. Now, the Epstein files are said to have millions of pages of investigative materials, but many of them are still redacted. All Hip Hop said that Mace said she personally looked over papers that named Jay-Z, but no exhibits or sworn statements were made public with her statement. First of all, she didn't look over papers. She looked over one paper. Okay, how long and how many times did I go through the files? How many hours did I spend researching? How many broadcasts have I done on it? Jay-Z is mentioned in there more than once, but that is when they're talking about him and Beyonce, just like Obama and Michelle were mentioned when people were speaking on them. Clearly haters. The only time there's anything pertaining to Jay-Z even witnessing anything nefarious was that email that I showed you where they talked about him being there with Weinstein. Now, maybe he was there. I don't know. But the bottom line is, what about Trump? Why isn't Trump being brought in for questioning, or any of these other white men? Okay? Lutnick, who lied to our faces and continued to do so until the proof came out. Okay, per IBT Times, as of March the 5th of 2026, Jay-Z has not received a formal subpoena. Mace did say, though, that the House Oversight Committee could look for more witnesses if there is documentary evidence, that supports more investigation. Well, y'all don't even need any more investigations, any more information for Trump. It's all right there. Okay, it's all right there for Trump. So I'm just confused. I just have several questions. Hold on, beloveds. Let me pull up these receipts. So what do you all think about that? What do you all think about the fact that she wants Jay-Z called in and not Trump? Hold on, let me pull up this video. I'm sorry, it's a no for me. Call Trump in first, or call them both in at the same time. How about that? Okay, Nice M10K says Nancy Mace has a creepy obsession with asking folk, what is a woman? Also, she got into it with Tim Walz, and he wasn't having any of it. It was amazing. Okay? Hillary Clinton went in on her too, even though I don't like Hillary. Hillary went in on her during that deposition, honey. Okay, I think I have the video to show you all later. So thank you for your insight to the topic, beloved, and your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Reggie as well, thank you, beloved, for your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay? These people are something else. They just try to drag Black folk in it. And like I told you all earlier, and y'all know it's the truth, if the Epstein files were filled with Black men being accused of those things and had the same amount of evidence or accusations as we have right now, let's just take everything we have in the files now, remove the white folks' names, and put Black people's names in there. Do y'all think nobody'd be arrested? Y'all think nobody would have been arrested, honey? All of them would have been arrested. They'd be in prison right now. Okay? They would have been in prison right now. Okay, please pay attention. But because these are white men, oh, nobody wants to see anything here, folks. No, nothing's verified. There's nothing going on here. Well, you all didn't conduct a thorough investigation, did you? And when you have a witness whose testimony was used to help convict Ghislaine Maxwell, and this same witness accused Trump and has done 4 interviews, the question is, well, why isn't Trump under suspicion by the DOJ? Why hasn't Trump been questioned? Why are they acting like he has been, found so innocent that nothing nefarious has been accused? No one's accused him of anything nefarious. Like, make it all make sense. Michael said, at the very least, Queen, their names would have been put out in public. Of course. Of course. They would have been shamed.
Nancy Mace just said she hasn't heard a single Epstein survivor call for Donald Trump to be questioned regarding his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, and that these new...
Now, I want you all to pay attention to what this young man is saying. He said, Nancy Mace has said that she has not heard a single Epstein survivor call for Trump to be brought in for questioning. Well, maybe they don't want to turn up like Virginia Giuffre. May she rest in peace. Okay? But here's the thing. So have they told her to have Jay-Z called in for questioning? Yeah, I'm sure they haven't. Okay, so make it all make sense. That's her excuse.
Files completely exonerate him. But here's the thing. An Epstein survivor actually fact-checked her in real time. Take a look.
Nancy, can I ask you, when have survivors said to you that President Trump was exonerated?
Yes.
Because they've only ever told me we want to see him questioned.
Nope, I've never heard that from a single victim.
Wait.
But on the same day as she's saying this, Jess Michaels, an Epstein survivor, had this to say in regards to Representative Luna, saying she did not meet with all 1,200 plus victims over a 30-year time span. We, as a collective, have not cleared Donald Trump of wrongdoing. He is a person of interest. He should testify. Signed, an Epstein survivor. Then she added 1 hour later, you don't need to lie, obstruct, or delay transparency when you're innocent. And she's absolutely right. Donald Trump has fought as hard as he possibly could to keep these files from being released. And he even had his own FBI flag every single record that mentions his name. Now it's been proven the FBI made their own redactions before sending the Epstein files to the DOJ, something they, of course, were not supposed to do. Here's the truth. The Epstein files do anything but exonerate Donald Trump. He's mentioned over 38,000 times in the files we get to see after they went through multiple stages of redactions. Nancy...
Okay, I like her nerve. Buckhorse DC talking about my queen, you get on my last nerve. Honey, you get on my nerves too. But the difference is, Buckhorse DC, you don't have to be on here, honey. You're on here because you want to be on here. So does the queen really get on your nerves? I don't think so. Okay, have several seats. Okay, have several seats, Buckhorse DC. You better be glad Queen's in a good mood. Because otherwise, honey, if I was mad like I was this morning, you'd likely get roasted right about now. It's just so sad how I go in on y'all when I'm not in a good mood, isn't it? I need to stop. But why? Now, with that all being said, let's talk about Weiner's laptop. FBI report implicates Clinton in child crimes. Now, I probably should have shown you all, hold on. I probably should show you all what Hillary had to say first. Okay, so let me just go to that first. Then we're going to go to this video because Hillary was sitting up there trying to go all in. But the truth of the matter is, I remember exactly what was said about that laptop. Okay? How could anyone forget what was on that man's laptop? Andrew Weiner. Isn't that his name? Yeah. Y'all remember Weiner's laptop? I talked to y'all about it back in 2020. Okay, the police had it in their possession. And honey, one of the things that they had on there, well, I'll talk about that in a minute, but let's continue. Let's hear what Hillary had to say about it all.
Are you aware of any files that were on Anthony Weiner's laptop in a folder that was titled life insurance, with a zip file titled
Excuse me,
Frazzle.
I'd like the chairman's
This is
no,
way
I'd like
outside
the
the
chairman's
scope.
ruling.
This
Is
is
this
way
within the
outside the
scope?
scope.
This
Is this within the scope, Mr.
if
Chairman?
the chairman rules that it's not within the scope, I
Mr.
have
Chairman,
other
based on
questions.
what you said in the public hearing, is this within the scope?
We can go off the record for a moment.
Mr. Chairman, is this within the scope?
We'll go off the record and consult.
Now, Hillary didn't want to answer that question and they went off the record. All hell really broke loose. I find it all interesting. Why didn't she want to answer it? It's a simple question. Let me tell you all what I heard about that laptop. And I told you all this back in 2020. You know, this could be a conspiracy theory. I don't know. I haven't seen the laptop, but what I do know is that it was alleged back then about Hillary doing something to a child on that laptop. Do y'all remember that, or am I crazy? Once in the chat, if you all remember me talking about that, something about somebody's face being chewed off. Y'all remember that? And I know it sounded crazy back then, but now, since we have the Epstein files and we can see about the cannibalism, the eating up the intestines, and all these nefarious things that have been alleged, does it sound crazy that they back then said that there was video footage of Hillary Clinton and this other man's wife, I can't remember that man's name, chewing off a child's face? It's a lie, they told it. Okay, do y'all remember that? Because I could never forget it. I mean, I could never forget it. And also, there used to be a video on YouTube. I can't find it now, but there was a video on YouTube of a woman saying that she witnessed Hillary Clinton turn into a reptilian. Y'all remember that? With razor sharp teeth. Okay, now I'm not saying any of this is true. I'm just telling you what has been said. And the more we dig into these files, it looks like these people that they call conspiracy theorists, even myself included, well, you know, are they really conspiracy theorists, or was there some truth to the things that we were saying? Now let's continue, okay? Because Hillary was implicated, all right, as opposed to having something to do with nefariousness with children. That's just the facts.
Anthony Weiner kept all this evidence, and allegedly he filed it in a folder called life insurance. And all that case that the NYPD wanted to act on was then taken over by James Comey and the FBI. And to this day, nothing has come of it. However, in 2018, the Inspector General's report on that case documented how the evidence on the Anthony Weiner laptop did prove that both Hillary Clinton and her foundation were involved in crimes against children. And you guys can go online today and pull up that IG report and say that on page 297, it says just that. So there's a ton of different examples of how Hillary Clinton is involved with child sex trafficking. Anthony Weiner kept all this evidence in a
So, now here's the thing. Why would he have said life insurance? Okay? Why would he have called it life insurance? That's what it was labeled, because we all know that we've heard stories. I'm not saying these stories are true, but we know we've all heard stories of people around the Clintons turning up dead on sidewalks 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning on the way home from a bar, faked like a robbery, but nothing was stolen, still wearing a Rolex watch. Okay? Have we not? Now let's go to this clip of her in this confrontation with Nancy Mace.
Howard Lutnick. I know Howard Lutnick because when I was senator on 9/11, the firm he headed, Cantor Fitzgerald, suffered the greatest loss of life. As I recall, something like 650 of his employees were murdered by terrorists that day. Howard Lutnick missed being a victim because he was delayed dropping his child off to kindergarten. You asked the question. I'm going to answer your question.
Now you're going to
This was what I spent my time doing.
I'm a survivor trying to look out for other survivors, trying to
and
keep
I
them
was
up.
taking care
You
of
waited
the
6
people
months
who
to
lost
get here today.
3,000
6 months,
lives
and now you're being
at World
defiant
Trade
and
Center.
indignant today.
You asked me
I have
about
met
Howard
with
Lutnick.
Epstein survivors. I'm a survivor myself. You have emails. You've denied that Jeffrey Epstein that you tried to get Jeffrey Epstein to give money to you.
I did
but
not.
Howard Lutnick was
If
used
you
to
have an
get
email
money.
with me asking Jeffrey
I
Epstein
have
for
an
money,
email from Howard Lutnick sending it to Jeffrey Epstein and his people to
I
raise
don't-
money for
I don't
you
know
for
about-
an event, an intimate event for you at his offices
Well,
at Cantor Fitzgerald. You're
look,
going to sit
if
here
you-
today
if you would
and,
let me
and,
finish.
and obfuscate and say to this committee, you didn't try to get money from Jeffrey
I didn't.
Epstein when
I
there was
didn't.
an intimate event in an email that Howard Lutnick emailed to Epstein's people and Epstein to get him to come to your intimate event at Cantor Fitzgerald, a very small event. And so I'm not going to public. You want to yell at me, that's fine, but I'll yell right back.
Well,
okay? I am looking out for
it's
survivors.
very-
I'm doing
look-
the job that you would not do and refuse to do as Secretary of State. Thank you, and I yield back to
No,
Congresswoman.
I'm going to finish answering the question, which I have a right to do. I am very sympathetic to your.
Now, it's important to note that she was determined to answer this question, but she didn't want to answer that question about Weiner's laptop. Okay? Went off the record. Let's continue.
Personal situation. I have read about it. I have seen you testify or speak on the floor about it. And I very much sympathize with not only what you went through, but appreciate your effort to stand up for survivors. I was a senator representing the people who were murdered on 9/11. Nobody lost more people than Howard Lutnick. You can say whatever you want. You can call him and have him appear before the committee. But I knew him as the man who lost the employees that he knew intimately, including his brother.
And he was a
So
double
I
threat between
work.
you and
Let
Jeffrey
her finish
Epstein
her
raising
answer,
money
please.
for you.
Let her finish her answer.
You know what? If you don't want to hear what emotionally affected me, that's fine. But that's why I know Howard Lutnick. I went to the memorial service every 9/11 after the formal.
I went to the memorial services too, Hillary. Sit down somewhere. Let me tell y'all something. Here's the thing. Here is the thing. First of all, why is she so angry? Well, she's angry because she's lying, in my opinion. And at the end of the day, Howard Lutnick coincidentally didn't go to work that day because he was doing something for his daughter or whatever. Well, here's what they've long said. It's long been said that some of the people like Howard Lutnick, were told not to go to work that day because something was going to happen. Okay? Now think about that. I'm not saying it's true, but this has long been said. But think about that, and then think about what Candace is now alleging about who actually caused 9/11. I'm not saying Candace is true. I'm just saying I have a whole lot of questions. Okay? I have a whole lot of questions. Now, let's go to the House when they block the release of the Congressional SE-actual misconduct files. These people are always covering up something. They're always covering up something. Absolutely egregious. And also, let me just say again, for those of you who missed it or who are new to this channel, I actually predicted 9/11. Okay? And you all that have been here since 2020 know that. I was talking about it, and someone who was with me when I called the FAA, they actually hopped in the chat to verify it. Okay? So I want you all to pay attention. I've always been prophetic. Okay? With that all being said, let's continue.
Woman from South Carolina rise.
Ms. I rise to give notice of my intent to raise a...
Is Congress protecting its own? A massive 357-65 vote effectively killed a push to make every congressional sexual harassment report public. The resolution, brought by Nancy Mace, would have forced the House Ethics Committee to release all investigative records into members of Congress accused of sexual misconduct within 60 days. Mace argues that both parties colluded to protect predators, pointing out the irony of lawmakers demanding transparency in the Epstein files while keeping their own records under lock and key. The opposition, led by both Republican and Democratic leadership, argues that forced disclosures would have a chilling effect, re-traumatizing victims and scaring off future witnesses who were promised.
So that's what they're trying to say here. So they're saying that, oh, if we start doing something about it and releasing the information, it's going to re-traumatize victims. I would think that the victims will be re-traumatized if they didn't get justice, or if the people who did these things to them weren't punished and held accountable. Doesn't that make more sense? Okay, doesn't that make more sense? Judah Homecoming said, Queen, I remember when you had the Trump warehouse dream. Right. The assassination attempts on Trump. I actually thought he was assassinated. Okay, I told y'all I dreamt it twice, but I thought they took him out of here because in the first dream he looked like he was dead, but I guess it was just the attempts, allegedly. But yeah, I dreamt those dreams in 2020. I told y'all about it. Okay, 5 years before it ever happened. Please pay attention.
Anonymity.
Thank you,
This
beloved.
vote comes as the public learns that taxpayers have footed the bill for over $17 million in settlements for workplace claims on Capitol Hill since 1997. While not all of those were for sexual harassment, the hush fund optics have critics across the country asking, who exactly is the government working for? Do you believe the public has a right to see these names, or is protecting the privacy of the victims more important? Comment.
The public has the right to know the names. Congress needs to sit down somewhere. A bunch of these people, in my opinion, are affiliated with Epstein and what's in those files. And I think that's why they're trying to cover all these things up. How else would it make sense? Okay, now let's go to Hillary Clinton responding when they ask her about Bill Clinton getting those massages and whatnot. Okay. I'm laughing at a comment I just looked at. Hold
These
on,
photos of a young woman being massaged. What went through your mind?
I am not going to speculate.
You didn't have any feelings about young women massaging your husband.
I am not going to offer opinions or speculation about anything that I have no context for and was not there.
I'll give you an example. If I saw a picture with my wife, it's just really hard to be relevant. If my wife saw pictures with me as a grown man hanging out with obviously or close to underage women, regardless if it was before we were married or not, it would be a question. And so what I'm asking you is, did any questions regarding those photographs come to your mind?
I am going to just as clearly as I can state, say I don't see the relevance of your question, and I am not going to talk about conversations that I had with my family, especially my husband.
Saw your husband in the
Hillary said she didn't have anything to do with it, okay? She's not going to speculate. Hillary and Bill are in a whole lavender marriage, if you ask me. I've always felt that they were, okay? But now, here's the funny thing, and I was waiting for this question. They asked Bill about that picture that I've shown you all a myriad of times, that painting in Epstein's house with him wearing Monica Lewinsky's blue dress. Okay, they asked Clinton about that. Let's go to it. And then also, Wavy though says, and in hindsight, no one would be surprised if Trump didn't stage those plots against him for the show of it all. You know what? He absolutely could have. Like I said, when I dreamt it twice that, they tried to assassinate him, and I told you all that it came out that they were saying that the Secret Service had something to do with it. And then when it happened, that's exactly what they said. And the Secret Service director actually stepped down. Trump, I don't put anything past him, okay? Nothing at all. Bill Clinton reacts to Jeffrey Epstein's infamous blue dress painting. Let's get into it, honey. This is hilarious.
It's submitted to the record. We have a painting that seems to be of you, Mr. President, found in one of Jeffrey Epstein's residences, wearing a, I would categorize it as a famous blue dress worn by the White House intern, Monica Lewinsky. And I have this image here. This image is being passed around. If we need to go off the record while we do that, we can.
I can take the picture. Do you have a question?
It will be marked as Majority Exhibit 15. Proceed.
Thank you. So, Mr. President, we are looking at an image of a portrait that is looks to be you, Mr. President, in this blue dress. Can you describe this painting? And
He doesn't need to describe the painting. You just gave him a picture. What's your question?
My question is, are you familiar with this painting? Have you ever seen it in person?
I've never seen it in person.
Do you know why someone would paint this?
Are you asking him to
Objection.
speculate?
That's calls for speculation. You can ask the artist.
And if I had known Jeffrey Epstein had this painting, would have saved me this whole day.
Did you ever introduce Epstein to Monica Lewinsky or any other young female White House staffers?
I did not.
Did Epstein ever request introductions to young female intern staffers of you? Did he request you to introduce them? And one regarding this exhibit 15, this portrait, to the right of this image, there appears to be a plain letterhead document that is framed in a gold frame. Are you familiar with?
Did he testify that he's not seen this picture?
The painting we asked, yes. And now I'm asking about the image next to it. So
are you asking whether or not he's familiar with what's in this small frame?
I'm the part that you have covered up.
This part?
I'm asking if he's familiar with this letterhead letter that was
letterhead that we
hand.
Is this part of the painting?
No, sir. This is next to the painting and it's framed on the wall in the home of Jeffrey Epstein. I guess a better way to ask, other than the birthday note that was passed around here today for Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday, Mr. President, did you ever handwrite Jeffrey Epstein any other notes?
Well, I wouldn't remember, except that I've seen a picture recently of another note where I thank him for getting me away from the crowd on the airplane for a while so I could take a note nap.
Submitted to the record, we have a painting that seems.
You don't see that? Bubba sitting up there playing dumb. Okay, Bubba, cut it all out. All right. Cut it all out. Like some, everyone, please like and share. Now, this is what I want you all to see. Hold on, this is what I want you all to see. But you ought to see how some Black people get so excited and thrilled when other Black people are called out or going down, but they don't have that same energy when other people who are not Black get the same treatment. Or, they don't talk about those people. I find it all interesting. So let's go to this clip. Okay, let's go to this clip by Mr. Trent Out Loud, who seems very ecstatic that Jay-Z has been called to testify, as he thinks. He hasn't been called to testify. Representative Nancy Mace just said that she wants him to be questioned.
U.S. Representative Nancy Mace calls for Jay-Z and more to be interviewed in Epstein investigation. James Comer called for people like Bill Gates to come and testify. Nancy replied and said, hey, that's a good start, but why don't we add Sean Carter? Nancy wants Jay-Z to sit in Bill and Hillary's hot seat in regards to.
Why is he grinning so hard? I wonder if he grinned that hard, when she's talking about Trump being innocent. Okay, what about that? See, that's like I told you, that's what ticks me off. If she wants Jay-Z called to testify, well, why doesn't she want Trump? But she said Trump didn't do anything. Nothing to see here, folks.
Epstein. It's important to note that while Jay-Z's name appears in recent large-scale release of the unreleased documents in the Epstein case, his mention was based on an unverified anonymous tip rather than verified evidence. I told you guys yesterday about Jay-Z's album run that is going to be starting April the 3rd. This is going to be a huge thorn in his side. I think this has something to do with Nicki Minaj, but we'll talk about this and more on the Trend Out.
Some of these content creators that are Black, I just want you all to pay attention. They don't give a darn about Black people. And mind you, he's not African-American. He's actually from Canada. But with that all been said, some of these content creators that look like us, they don't care anything about Black folk, okay? All they care about is clicks and views, and they will quickly go in on other Black folk, but not have that same energy for the white folk accused of the same damn thing and worse. Okay, I just want you all to pay attention. And I don't rock with those type of people, okay? Because I don't care if a Black person is guilty. If the white man's guilty too, then let's call them both out. Why are you just wanting to call out Black folk and you're Black? That makes no sense to me at all whatsoever. Now, yes, I agree we should hold our people accountable, Okay, at the end of the day, yes, but we need to hold them accountable too. Because what I see here, and I pointed this out a myriad of times, is that when things are going on and white men specifically are called out for sexual deviancy, the first thing they do in the media is they try to go and get a black man to make him the face of it. Think about when the files first came out. They were putting Jay-Z out there, talking about Jay-Z's in the files. It wasn't anything verified. They were talking about Michael Jackson. They had a picture of Michael Jackson. Okay, bringing up old allegations. Now, all of a sudden, they want to do interviews. I just want you all to pay attention to the narratives they paint. Okay? So that's what ticks me off about the whole thing. And see, this is why these white men continue to get away with these things that they have historically done for decades. Okay? And not receiving any sort of consequences most of the time. All right? So with that all being said, let's continue.
Understand something really quickly. So Nancy Mace is calling out people who's supposed to be connected to the Jeffrey Epstein case. And apparently she wants answers. And of course, Jay-Z's name was dragged into the conversation. So some people are saying, he should come do an interview about it. But hold on. Out of all the CEOs, billionaires, politicians, y'all looked around the room and said, let's get Hov. That's the person y'all want sitting around doing press conference. At the end of the day, I get it. People want answers to the names that was dropped in the Epstein's file, and people love transparency. However, I'm just confused about the logic, because when they talk about these Epstein files, they talk about hundreds of powerful people in business, finance, politics. Yet the person that they were so eager to call out is Jay-Z to sit down and have an interview, or pretty much state his part in the Epstein files. I don't know. It's just been a lot of names that's been whispered, but when it comes to certain people, they're so loud. I don't know. Do y'all think that Jay-Z is going to come forth and say his part?
I think Jay-Z shouldn't come forward unless Trump comes forward. That's what I think. Jay-Z shouldn't say a damn thing unless they're going to call out Trump and the rest of these white men who have credible allegations against them. Okay? Please. All right? That's what I think. Now, with that all being said, and let me just say this too. This to show how stupid MAGA is. Okay, let me just tell you how dumb MAGA is. These people clearly do not read or research. They lack critical thinking skills and the like. So here's how you know they're complete idiots. So I was watching, I was just scrolling on Threads and Instagram, and I happened to see where someone said, oh, Jasmine Crockett lost her run for Senate. Oh, but don't worry, this is MAGA. They said that's good that she lost, or they were glad that she lost. And they said, at least she gets to keep her seat at the House. What? See, this is how you know they're fools. Okay, they don't even know what they're talking about. She doesn't get to keep her House seat. Okay, at the end of the day, you thought she was going to still be a member of the House after she ran for Senate. Okay, please sit down somewhere. These people just don't have any sense. They don't even know what they're talking about. And speaking of her seat, the man that is supposed to be replacing her, they're already, Fox News that is, trying to call him some type of radical because he wants Black folk to get reparations. Okay, hold on. Let me get into it. Because Fox News is always trying to talk trash about the Black folk. Here's what they say. Crockett's likely House successor is radical reparations activist talking about gotta pay us what you owe us. Yeah, y'all do. And y'all gonna pay us one way or the other. Okay, if we're not paid through monetization, we don't get monetary compensation, then the Most High is going to take it out of your arses. Okay, please pay attention. Okay, the Most High is going to take it out of your arses. Okay? Now let's get into it. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. So here's what they report. Frederick Haynes III blasted Israeli apartheid one day after October 7th Hamas attacks in Israel. And what's your point? What's your point? Okay, he doesn't have a right to. So Jasmine Crockett's pastor, Frederick Haynes III, who announced his bid to take over Crockett's House seat shortly after she announced her now failed bid for the U.S. Senate, won the Democratic primary for Texas's 30th Congressional District and will likely win in November due to the district being reliably blue. And so they go on to say that Haynes, who Crockett calls her pastor and mentor, runs Friendship West Baptist Church in Dallas, where he has been at the helm for around 40 years, and this is according to public reports. In a sermon the day after Hamas invaded Israel and slaughtered thousands of Israelis on October the 7th of 2023, Haynes blasted Israeli apartheid and praised notorious anti-Semite Louis Farrakhan. And your point is, let me say this, Minister Farrakhan is not anti-Semitic. He is Semitic, okay? We are those Hebrews that they're talking about in the Bible. We are the Israelites. That's why they call those other people Israelis. But let me continue. So, in addition to Haynes' anti-Israel remarks, he has also positioned himself as a radical reparations activist who once had congregants that, or told congregants that America was born in political violence. Were they not? Says, America, you owe us. What you have done to us has been immoral. It's been evil. It's been unjust. It's been downright wrong. And the only way to bring salvation to America, you gotta pay us what you owe us. That's right. Because they stole us, they sold us, and so they owe us. Okay, please pay attention. All right, where's the lie? And so anyway, goes on to say, that Haynes told these congregants this in 2022 at the San Francisco church of failed presidential candidate Kamala Harris. They just had to throw that in. Okay, they couldn't just say Kamala Harris. Longtime mentor and pastor Amos Brown, who has made several controversial comments, including blaming the United States for the 9/11 terrorist attacks. Well, I mean, if the shoe fits. So if you want salvation to come to this house, you've got to engage in reparations. Now, in Tuesday's primary, Haynes came out with a commanding victory, garnering 72.6% of the vote, according to the Associated Press, that is. Now, former Texas State Representative and Dallas City Council member Barbara Caraway came in second with 23.1% of the vote, and another Dallas area pastor, Rodney LaBruce, came in third with just 4.3% of the vote. Texas's 30th congressional district has been controlled by Democrats for many years and covers the southern portions of the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area. Now, Haynes campaigned on issues that align with Crockett's time in Congress as a member of the progressive group of lawmakers dubbed the Squad, including Medicare for all, abolishing immigration and customs enforcement, and raising the minimum wage. Crockett's time with the Squad is now ending following her loss in the Texas Democratic Party primary for the U.S. Senate on Tuesday against moderate James Tallarico. So during his watch party on election night Tuesday, Haynes also parroted claims that Crockett and other Democrats made about alleged voter suppression spurred by Republicans on Tuesday's Texas primaries. Yeah, they did. I showed you all the footage, the receipts, how there were Black and brown people who came forward and said they were not allowed to vote, and they were given no explanation as to why. They were told to go to another voting booth or to another voting poll. Right? And one man said he had been going to that same poll or that same voting place for 8 years. But now all of a sudden he's not welcome. He has to go elsewhere and not even told why. Okay, so yeah, they absolutely were suppressing it. Now, in addition to his sermons and discussions at church promoting reparations, Haynes also participated in a reparations rally outside the White House in 2023. Well, shout out to him, during which he said the United States was born in the sin of hostile genocidal takeover of indigenous land and shaped by anti-Black white supremacy. So they're mad because he's telling the truth? Is that what they're mad about? Because I don't see any lies so far, but let's continue. Saying this country that spent in the aftermath of emancipation decades plundering Black communities and ensuring that we were economically exploited and excluded. Okay. And so how could you talk about redemption without reparation? We've come to cash our check because we've seen the profit and loss statement. I like him already. All right. Now, with that being said, Haynes also has a history of pushing anti-Israel sentiment. Isn't that his prerogative? Oh, who said that he has to love Israel just because Fox News does? Okay, in 2017, Haynes posted a photo of himself on social media with notorious anti-Semites Louis Farrakhan, calling him a wonderful and great man. Well, he is. He is. Okay, I'm sorry, he was mad. It said that Farrakhan once called the Jews termites in a now infamous sermon. That's not exactly what was said. See how they love to lie and twist words? And I'll say this. What I do know is that the minister has never called for any of those people to be harmed, never wished bad or ill will on them, never said anything about violence on them, but they were chanting, who do we want? Farrakhan. How do we want him? Dead. Say what now? But we're supposed to think that the minister's the bad guy? Okay, please miss me with all of it. Please miss me with all of it. But let me continue. So anyway, meanwhile, just one day after Hamas terrorists went into Israel and killed thousands of Israelis, Haynes suggested Israel's apartheid was to blame. Well, I heard that they were Hamas. That's what some people have alleged. Now, I'm not saying it's true or not, but that's what some people have seemed to have thought, that it was in fact them. Just like the people in Saudi Arabia don't think that it was really Iran doing certain things and think that it was them too. So that's just what's going on here. So, I want to look at both sides. I don't just listen to propaganda spewed by the mainstream media, specifically Fox News. Okay? Now, last year, after the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, Haynes accused Kirk of espousing dangerous views rooted in white supremacy and criticized characterizations of Kirk's murder as an assassination. Absolutely. It was not an assassination. A man got killed. It wasn't an assassination because he was not any type of political, entity. He just wasn't. Now, he may have wanted to be, but he held no political office. He was not viewed as having, anything to do specifically with politics at the end of the day. So no, it was not an assassination. It was just simply a murder. Now, a white Christian gets killed, murdered, not assassinated, Haynes said, before launching into a comparison about how Black people who have been assassinated allegedly get treated worse. No lies detected so far. Martin Luther King got assassinated. Malcolm got assassinated. Medgar Evers got assassinated. Don't compare Kirk to King. Yeah, I believe it, and I go along with it. I mean, I don't know what their complaints are. They sound asinine. Though he condemned political violence, Haynes proceeded to drill into Kirk, saying that Kirk was dangerous, that he was racist and rooted in white supremacy, nasty and hate-fueled. I agree with everything so far. Fox News Digital has reached out to Haynes for comment on his radical positions, but he nor any of his representatives have responded. Here's what I find interesting. Let me just say this. What I find interesting is that they want to call this man a radical. Those are radical views. I'm going to tell you what's radical. Fox News has a whole lot of damn nerve. Didn't Jesse Taper on Fox News, or just Jesse Waters, whatever his name is, didn't he say something about what was that comment he made, basically saying that people should be killed? Didn't he say something crazy about that? Hold on, let me go back to his comments. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. I'm going to have to look this up real quick. He said something. Hold on. Okay, I can't remember. If someone can remember what this man said, please put it in the chat. Because remember, we were saying he should get fired for that. I don't want to misquote him, but I remember him saying something nefarious. And people are like, oh, he needs to be fired for that. I'm going to find it in just a second. But in the meantime, let's go to this report on Kristi Noem, who's clearly been fired, even though Trump wants to say she's replaced. That's code for fired, as far as I'm concerned. Trump fires Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. This is a report from ABC News. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Now, if you ask me, I think there's three main reasons why she was fired. For one, all of the backlash that they got for her calling Alex Pretty, a domestic terrorist right after the man loses his life. They got a whole lot of blowback about that. I think that may have had something to do with it. But also, that affair that they said she was having, they said Trump didn't like it. And basically, they said Trump felt uncomfortable. First of all, Trump feeling uncomfortable, I don't think that's what it was. Maybe he was jealous. I don't know. But nonetheless, they said Trump didn't like it. And then third of all, when they were questioning her, and they were asking her something specific, and they were trying to get her to admit, You know, did Trump tell you to do this or whatever? And how she answered it. I'm going to go to that momentarily. Okay, so now let's go to this report. They say this is a special report. Let's pay attention. Likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance.
This is an ABC News special report.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kira Phillips. We're coming on the air because President Trump has just announced that Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is out of a job. This follows reports that the president was frustrated by her recent testimony on Capitol Hill. Noem under fire from both parties over her job performance and her handling of the immigration crackdown. And that includes her response to the deadly shooting by federal agents of 2 American citizens, Renee Good and Alex Preddy. Just moments ago, the president saying he's naming Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin to become the next Secretary of Homeland Security. Let's get straight to our chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce. Mary, what do we know?
Well, Kira, the president just announcing this in a social media post that Markwayne Mullin is going to become the new Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security as of the end of this month. And the president, who, as you note, we know had grown increasingly frustrated with Secretary Noem this following several days of her testimony up on the Hill, the president posting the current secretary, Kristi Noem, who has served us well and has had numerous and spectacular results, especially on the border, will be moving to be special envoy for the Shield of the Americas, our new security initiative in the Western Hemisphere. It also comes, of course, as you note, that she received a lot of backlash after her response to the killings of 2 American citizens, Renee Good and Alex Preddy in Minneapolis. She, of course, was very quick to come out and label them domestic terrorists. She falsely said that Preddy was brandishing a gun. It created quite a controversy for the administration. Then, of course, the president moved in Tom Homan, his border czar, to take over the situation in Minneapolis. But Kira, the big picture here, it is important to remember that this is now the first major firing that we have seen in the president's second term. To fire Kristi Noem, move her away from being the DHS secretary to this new post at the end of this month. Unlike in his first term, where there was quite a bit of turnover in the cabinet, she is now the first cabinet secretary to be let go by President Trump.
Let's bring in our Chief Justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas. Pierre, as we get this news now, let's just talk about how DHS changed under Kristi Noem's leadership. And it didn't take long for her to receive a lot of heat from critics once she did take that position.
Indeed, Kira. And there was a key moment this week at that Senate hearing. This over $200 million ad campaign came up, and Senator Kennedy, a Republican, was pressing her on why was the funding as high as it was. He expressed deep concern that it was too much money, and he asked the secretary about it, and she claimed that the president was engaged in this. Now, we just saw from our own reporting from Rachel Scott and others that the president is now claiming that that is not true. And again, this ad campaign stars Kristi Noem, and basically the messages to undocumented people, leave now or be deported. And again, $200 million. And you could see these ads during football games, during the NFL, college football playoffs, the NBA, all types of major ad buys for this particular campaign. And that appears to have played a key role. To your first question, the bottom line is under Kristi Noem, there were some positives for the administration in terms of the border being shut down, but the way that the internal campaign to remove people from this country was executed is apparently played a big role in this as well. As Mary said, Tom Homan taking over after the situation in Minneapolis spiraled out of control.
And let's take it straight now to senior political correspondent Rachel.
Hold on, beloveds. Hold on. I just remember what I was talking about. Okay, so remember when I said Jesse Waters made that controversial statement? It wasn't Jesse Waters, even though he did say something. I still can't remember what he exactly said. But the comment that I was thinking about was made by Brian Kilmeade. And then he came out and issued a fake, bogus apology. Do you all remember Fox wants to talk about radical, call this black man radical because he wants reparations, okay? And because he expresses his First Amendment to not just be in love with Israel just because they are. Okay, so remember, he apologized because he said that homeless people should be killed. Y'all remember that? Involuntary euthanizations, isn't that what he said? Y'all remember that? Yeah, then he came out with this bogus apology. Okay, he said they should, the solution to homelessness could involve lethal injections. That's what he said. Want to kill people because they're homeless? What kind of low down, dirty stuff is that? So they can't call anybody radical is all I'm saying, but let's continue.
Rachel Scott, I know you're en route to the Hill. You've been talking to your sources, Rachel. What's the word from lawmakers after Pierre just mentioned, of course, the testimony where apparently the president was not happy with how the now former secretary performed during testimony?
Yeah, well, Kira, I'm told by multiple sources that President Trump was on the phone calling Republicans, calling allies, asking whether or not he should fire Secretary Kristi Noem. He was pointing out that he was clearly unhappy with that answer that she gave Senator Kennedy during these heated briefings and hearings on Capitol Hill just yesterday. I'm also told that there has been a lot of frustration with how Noem has handled several instances, not just this particular one on the Hill testifying before Congress, but also just a few days ago, it was her decision along with one of her top advisors, Corey Lewandowski, to ultimately pause and put a hold on TSA PreCheck due to the government shutdown. I'm told by multiple sources that then White House officials had to intervene then to correct that. So this is coming after a lot of frustration, not only from President Trump, but also top members of his administration expressing concern about some of her actions, and ultimately the president making this decision today to now get Kristi Noem out and completely replace her, Kira.
And
you know, this is what I always say. Trump throws his own people under the bus. Okay, I don't know how they don't get it by now. He doesn't care about any of them. I mean, look at all the people that went to prison, okay, for doing what he told them to do.
24 hours of speculation. The president, as he likes to do, just made the announcement himself via Truth Social, saying that he was going to be putting Markwayne Mullin, the senator from Oklahoma, in charge of the Department of Homeland Security, and essentially demoting, not firing, but reassigning Kristi Noem to what he described as special envoy for the Shield of the Americas, which he said is a new security initiative in the Western Hemisphere that he plans to announce on Saturday in Florida. After about 24 hours of speculation, the president, as he likes to do, just made the announcement himself via Truth Social, saying that he was going to be putting Markwayne Mullin.
Hold on. Let's go to them talking about her cheating. Okay? Let's go to that. So them talking about her and all that cheating they claim she was doing. Under questioning.
Wall Street Journal, you and Mr. L have a close relationship that has made President Trump, quote, uncomfortable. The president reportedly denounced Corey Lewandowski as your chief of staff due to reports of a romantic relationship between the two of you. So instead, you designated him as a special government and employee. Trump knows that this guy is shady. Corey has a decades-long record of physical battery, sexual harassment, illegal lobbying for a Venezuelan oil company, and bringing a loaded gun into a federal building. Despite being fired or removed from virtually every position he has ever held due to misconduct, he now wields unchecked, unconfirmed, undisclosed power over your department. He is unqualified, which again has left my constituents and I wondering why he is your top official. So Secretary Noem, at any time during your tenure as Director of Department of Homeland Security, have you had sexual relations with Corey Lewandowski?
Mr. Chairman, I am shocked that we're going down and peddling tabloid garbage in this committee today.
Reclaiming
and
my
ma'am, one thing that I would tell you is that he is a special government employee who works for the White House. There are thousands of them in the federal government.
So reclaiming my
As an
time,
advisor,
Secretary, it is
has
okay for
no-
you to be
no
offended
authority
by
to
the
be
question.
making any
It is
decisions.
okay for you to
Has
be
no
offended
authority
by the
to
question.
be make.
If you didn't have any type of relations going on with this man, why not just answer the question yes or no? Why not just say no? Okay? Why not just say no? All right? I'm just wondering.
But it is also a real question.
So what I would say
And
to
you should be able to
is
answer
that
the
what we do at the
question
Department of Homeland Security
clearly
every single
and without
day,
any hesitation.
every single day is to protect
If
this
someone
country,
is asking
make
if
decisions.
you or any federal official is sleeping with their subordinate, that should be the easiest. You should be wanting to answer that question.
Is garbage.
Because it is not about
It is
your sex
offensive
life.
that you have brought
It is
that up.
about your
So
judgment.
that kind of garbage
It is
has
about
been refuted
reclaiming
for
my
years,
time so
and
that
you
I
need
can hear
to
myself
recognize-
share. I want to let you know, it is about your judgment and decision-making. It is about the 260,000 employees that work under you that want to make sure that you are giving information and making decisions clearly. It is about conflict of interest. It is about a national security risk. American lives are at risk. The people who work for you are at risk. And they want to know that the person at the top, you, are making decisions clearly without any sort of cloudiness, and that they're your decisions because you're the secretary who was confirmed. Policy number 10271 from ICE, it is an anti-fraternization policy prohibiting romantic or sexual relationships between supervisors and their subordinates. And with that,
Okay, so goodness Reddit both said, who cares? It's nobody's business. It is people's business, honey. That's their policy. You see, at some jobs, okay, I've worked a couple of jobs myself when there's supposed to be no fraternizing, okay, with subordinates. Okay, that's just the way it goes. And also, as the lady said, it's a conflict of interest. You have to be concerned about favoritism. You have to be concerned about, is this person even qualified for the job they've been given? You just heard the record that she said about this man. All these things he's been accused of. How is he even in that position? Okay, at the end of the day, yes, it is important. It may not be important to you, but clearly it's important to the people who work in those positions and who have to deal with the bullshit. And it should be important to us because that does talk about her credibility, her judgment, and the fact that this is all a conflict of interest. Now, let us continue because Kristi Noem defends her affair with Corey Lewandowski. Okay, I want you all to pay attention. It absolutely is important, beloved. This is not just gossip at the water cooler. Okay, there's reasons. Nobody cares if she's just sleeping around, on her daily life. Nobody cares about that. It's not the tabloids. But this is about official business. And, maybe you've never worked a job where there's these type of policies. No fraternizing with the clients. No fraternizing with your employees. Yeah, that's a thing in some places, specifically when you're in corporate.
You said it's garbage, and it may be, but I really think you need to say the word no into the record so that you can clear that up.
I think the ridiculousness of this and the tabloids that you are quoting and referencing are insane. And this has been
So that's a no?
something that I've refuted
Is
for
that a no?
years, and I continue to do that.
So it's a
What I
no.
would tell you is
We
when
can move on.
regards
Hold
to
on.
what you're
Madam Secretary,
doing,
we can move on. I'm not going to belabor it. If it's
this is what you do.
Hold on.
The
I'm not doing anything.
Liberal left
Okay.
is you go off and you
I-
attack
I was-
conservative women, and you
See, all of this deflected and gaslighting, okay? All this deflected and gaslighting, girl, just say yes or no. But she don't want to answer it because she knows if she lies and says no, and then they throw out some receipts to prove that she lied, she's going to be looking real crazy. So let me just sit here and talk trash and try to turn it back on him. See, here's what you do. Honey, he's asking you a question. He's not doing anything nefarious at this point.
say that we're either stupid
I haven't
or
said
we're
anything.
sluts.
All right, so listen.
And that's what you do.
Yesterday,
And I will tell
Richard,
you, sir,
yes, reclaiming
I will
my
tell
time,
you,
Mr.
sir,
Chairman.
I
Mr.
am
Chairman,
neither of
reclaiming my
those.
time.
I
You
am
were asked
neither
by
of
Richard
those.
Blumenthal
This is from
yesterday.
the
You were asked
out of
by
the
Richard
Democratic
Blumenthal
Party.
yesterday if Corey was involved in approving contracts. You said no. Do you want to correct that?
What I would say is that he has an advisor to the Department of Homeland Security, has no
Madam Secretary,
decision-making
do you want to correct
authority.
it? Yes or no? You don't want to correct
no
it? Fine.
decision-making authority,
Hold
no
on.
role in
Not a problem. According to one of the female administrators that you fired, there is nothing, including contracts, that is brought to you that he hasn't reviewed. In fact, a significant amount of DHS internal routing documents has his signature on it above deputy secretaries. Okay? That former female administrator wasn't fired by you, the secretary. He was fired by Corey. It was Corey that called him into your office. It was Corey that made him to submit to a polygraph test. The $100,000 spending rule that you created that comes to your desk, you're not even sitting at your desk. It's Corey who's sitting there. ISIS said the Republicans should be happy at the job that you're doing. Really? You're looking at the person who single-handedly took the president's signature core issue, immigration, the issue that got him elected from 59% to 39%. 200 miles of border walls being held up by you. They had to bring in Tom Homan, pull out of Minnesota. I think the country needs a national divorce from you on biblical grounds. I mean, if Donald Trump was still apprentice Trump, he would look at you and he would realize you're the weakest cabinet member and he would fire you. And if the president said to you that only way DHS could reopen is if you resigned, I hope you would take him up on it. Now, I want to end on a happy note, Mr. Chairman, real quickly. The president gave all sorts of stuff out during the State of the Union. I don't want you to leave. I got you a new Coast Guard blankie, the one you lost. Okay, so this is for you. You don't leave empty-handed when you come to judiciary. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The gentleman has expired. The gentleman from
Yeah, y'all remember that? She got this man fired because she was pissed off because she left her blanket on a private jet. Okay? Make it all make sense. And the man didn't bring it to her. He was someone who was working for them and he forgot to bring it or something. But girl, you want somebody fired for that? Okay, please make it all make sense.
Fine that President Trump approved this ahead of time. Is that my understanding?
We had conversations about making sure that we were telling people.
No, ma'am. I'm asking you, sorry to interrupt, but the president approved ahead of time you spending $220 million running TV ads across the country in which you are featured prominently.
Yes, sir. We went through the legal processes, did it
Did the
correctly,
president
worked
know
with
you were gonna do
OMB.
this?
Yes.
He did.
Yes.
You're testifying that President Trump approved this ahead of time. Is that my understanding?
We had conversations about making sure that we were telling people.
No, ma'am. I'm asking you, sorry to interrupt.
I just had to hear it again. Hold on. I love the way he talks. He got that real Southern slang or twang. Yeah.
But
hold on.
the president approved ahead of time you spending $220 million running TV ads across the country in which you are featured prominently.
Yes, sir. We went through the legal processes, did it
Did the
correctly,
president
worked
know
with
you were gonna do
OMB.
this?
Yes.
He did.
Yes.
That's why she got fired right there. Ding, ding, ding. That's why she got fired. They say Trump was livid. Sources close to the administration said Trump was absolutely furious. Okay? Because she all but said that Trump's the one that told her to do it, that Trump allowed her to spend that $220 million. All right? He was fired up. That's the real reason she got fired, if you ask me. But hold on, let's go to one more clip of her telling lies. I think she was telling the truth right then and there. I think Trump did tell her she could do it, but Trump threw her to the wolves.
Alex's parents, they told me that you calling him a domestic terrorist, this was directly from them, the day after he was killed. A nurse in our VA, Alex, one of the most hurtful things they could ever imagine was said by you about their son. Do you have anything you want to say to Alex Preddy's parents?
We were relying in the hours after that incident that was so horrific on information we were getting from the ground from
just
our
asked
agents.
if you had
But I
anything
would
you wanted to say to the
but I would
parents
say
or to the family
that's
of
what I'm
Renee
doing
Good
right now,
after
is
you
that
called
I
them domestic
can't
terrorists.
even imagine what they have gone through in the loss of their son and the loss of their family members.
But
It's
how about
absolutely
specifically
tragic.
calling them
And I
domestic
send
terrorists
them-
without any evidence of that?
Sir, ma'am, I did not call him a domestic terrorist. I said it appeared to be an incident of.
This witch is lying. She literally called that man a damn domestic terrorist. Because I remember going in on her, talking about it appears to be. You didn't say it appeared to be anything. She straight up called that man a domestic terrorist and acted as though he was out of pocket and caused it all on himself. That's what she did. Made excuses for them shooting an innocent man 10 times while he lay on the ground in fetal position, clutching his phone and his glasses.
I think the parents saw it for what it was. When I spoke to Alex.
We all did. Dirty. Ugh. That's exactly what she called that man. Low down bitch. But on to another news. Let's talk about this. Here's the thing. So what I find interesting, beloveds, is the fact that the United States has told their citizens who are abroad in Israel and Iran and such places, Dubai and whatnot, they've told them that we can't help you. If you're stranded over there, this is your own problem. You're going to have to figure out best way you can. We cannot come to help you and don't expect us to. That's pretty much what they have said. Now, mind you, other countries have sent planes to get their people up out of there. The U.S. doesn't have time. They can't do it. But you know what they can do? Well, I'm so glad you asked. They can allow Kash Patel to gallivant all around the country to different places, even Milan, on private jets, okay? That's what they can allow him to do. He can go in a private jet and go visit his country singing girlfriend. But when it comes to American citizens stranded in places where there's war, they don't have anything they can do for them. They can't send anything, any plane, not even a helicopter. They can't send anybody to get them. Okay, that's what they can't do. But America first, yeah, please. Okay, let's continue.
Media influencer Oliver Sims. It was the vacation of his dreams.
This is crazy.
A friend's wedding in India where he had the time of his life. But on his way home to Dallas in the 2-hour layover in the Qatari capital Doha, this happened.
I am in the Doha airport, and I'm stuck here.
After the U.S. and Israel launched its war on Iran, and airspace across the Gulf was closed. We met the 24-year-old at the Doha seafront.
It's been really scary because, you know, there have been a few times when I've heard these extremely loud explosions.
Qatar has faced some of the most intense Iranian strikes on the Gulf. Its Hamad International Airport is one of the world's top 10 busiest for global travel. This morning, all flights remain canceled.
Have you been in touch with the State Department? I have, yes, but it's just kind of all over the place.
Are you angry at anyone?
I'm not angry. I am definitely just disappointed, just in the way that it has been handled and the way that U.S. citizens here are being taken care of or lack of.
And in the last few hours, more explosions could be heard here in the skies above Doha as Qatari forces continue to intercept incoming Iranian fire. Now, the intensified strikes come as Americans living in the compound that houses the U.S. Embassy here had to be evacuated to nearby hotels, while thousands
People just stranded. Okay, Queen Amoni Hewitt says, Queen, I do believe that Trump is going to turn his back on Bibi. I'm counting the days. No, he's not, beloved. I don't think so. Bibi's got him where he wants him. You see, I believe that Bibi has footage on Trump and other U.S. politicians, just like Lumumba Amin, Idi Amin's son, has been saying for months. I absolutely believe it. And I think that he wouldn't dare, because he doesn't want anything to come out and expose him any further. And also, I think that he also has an element of fear of those people. I just really think so. But now, you could be right, beloved, but we'll see. Only time will tell. Now, let's go to this next clip. This is all nefarious. Reggie's co-worker lives in Boha.
Days into the war between the U.S. and Iran, the State Department working to get Americans home from the Middle East. 8,500 evacuated yesterday alone, but an estimated 6,000 remain trapped. Frustrated.
I mean, Doha. Did I say Boha? Let's continue.
They say because they have been left to fend for themselves. Stephen Fabian begins our coverage.
An exhausted Alyssa Ramos is crying tears of relief today. After a 24-hour odyssey through 3 countries, she is finally out of the danger zone. The travel influencer was in Kuwait when war broke out.
We can hear the missiles or drones getting shot, intercepted out of the air.
We did reach out to the U.S. government several times. The embassy was no help.
When she called the emergency number, she got this recording.
Please do not rely on the U.S. government for assisted departure or evacuation at this time.
So she hired a driver for $1,200 to take her and 4 friends to the capital of Saudi Arabia, an 8-hour journey across the desert. From there, she took the first flight available to Cairo, Egypt, where we spoke to her.
I'm just trying to get out of this region.
Alyssa is one of the lucky ones. Thousands of U.S. citizens remain stranded.
There are no commercial flights. There is no way for Americans who are stuck here to get out.
Jason Altmaier is a former U.S. congressman from Pennsylvania. He and his wife landed in Dubai just as the war began. Now, even with his connections, he can't get out.
In our hotel right now, it's pretty much only the Americans that are left.
We've received so many emergency alerts.
Chicago model Shekinah Lee is also stuck in Dubai, where sirens send her running to an underground parking garage for shelter.
What have you tried so far to get out of there?
We've tried booking flights to other cities in the U.S. We've tried booking flights to Europe, but none of that really seems feasible.
Today, the government's emergency hotline has been updated.
The U.S. is committed to helping U.S. citizens who want to leave the region to do so.
And the White House says they're chartering planes to get everyone out.
The State Department will identify where you are and provide travel options directly to you.
I don't know why everyone's not doing this.
This guy found a way out of Dubai. He chartered a private jet to take him to London, but the price tag, $134,000. Meanwhile, in Israel, a bride and groom were getting married when the air raid sirens rang out, so they moved the ceremony to an underground shelter.
Oh, for $123,000. Yeah, I would have just had to stay there. Okay, what? Oh, honey. At the end of the day, they're not going to do anything. Okay, please pay attention. Please pay attention. Let's go to the next clip, and then I'm going to go to these other countries that are getting their people out of there with a quickness.
The possibility of Iran retaliation here at home. Now, we're learning about action taken by the FBI director that some in the intelligence community worry could hurt our ability to prevent those types of attacks. What can you tell us about that?
That's right. Kash Patel recently fired nearly a dozen FBI agents who worked on special counsel Jack Smith's probe into President Trump's classified documents case. CBS News has learned from multiple sources that many of those agents were working on global counterintelligence cases, including some involving Iran. Among the terminated staffers was a section chief in counterintelligence who handled threats from the Iranian government and its proxies. A source called the firings, quote, devastating to the FBI's Iran program and said that these agents have confidential informants in the U.S. Iranian community who are not replaceable. The FBI says it is still maintaining robust counterintelligence operations across the country, though.
We talked about the possibility of Iran.
Kash Patel just fired people that are qualified. He fired people that are actually qualified to do the job, okay? That's what he did. Nice M10K said, not with a quickness. Let's continue. This is all nefarious.
Overnight, the first charter flight leaving the Middle East, carrying Americans back home to safety. As the race to get out of the region intensifies, the State Department says its round-the-clock task force has been able to help evacuate 6,500 U.S. citizens. In Beirut, some airlines are getting more used to the risk, this plane taking off through the smoke of an Israeli airstrike. Our Brit Clinic spoke to Americans who landed in Hong Kong from a shell-shocked Dubai.
How do you feel right now? So relieved.
Sarah Mative of Nashville got a flight after 4 days. She says she called the State Department helpline and received no help.
We called the number and they said, sorry, there's nothing we can do.
And the question this morning, if the plan to attack Iran was months in the making, where was the plan for civilian evacuations?
The Secretary of State issued level 4 travel advisories dating back to January for many of these countries in the region.
The White House pushed back Wednesday.
You can't be much more clear than that. Do not travel to these following countries.
But based on the department's own travel advisory system, on Saturday morning, 9 out of 14 countries now under evacuation orders were not considered high risk. Some making the dangerous drive to other countries just to get out.
We are passing the border to get out of Kuwait.
These people just be lying, talking about we've issued travel advisories. You know, it would have been nice if they had said previously that they're going to just attack these people so people wouldn't have gone there in the first place, okay? Maybe they could have just done that. This whole administration is just so uncouth.
After we arrived in Armenia, we finally felt relieved. We felt safe. The embassy called us twice a day to ask about our progress and what our situation was. They were checking in on us every day, and we really feel that the embassy cares about us.
Okay, so they went and got their people. That lady said she called and and the U.S. told them, we can't help you. So nothing we can do. Can you imagine?
Land border crossings between Iran and Turkey, and they're all open, and Iranians don't need a visa to come here, and some are crossing the border to seek refuge. I spoke to one woman who came from the capital, Tehran. She didn't really have a plan once she arrived here. Her only plan was to bring her 3-year-old daughter to safety. She said she feared for her life. I also spoke to a man that was dropping off his family members and then planning to go straight back. He was crying as he hugged them goodbye, visibly moved. And he told me through tears, what would you do if your country was being unfairly attacked? I have to go back and stand by my country, but I had to make sure my family was safe. Someone I spoke to this morning that was passing through said that petrol is being rationed in the country so people cannot fill their tanks fully, and that there is heavy traffic going out of the capital, Tehran. So Turkey has a very tricky balancing act because they have a long border with Iran and it's been stable for over 500 years. And
So as I said, many of these other countries were quickly getting their people out of there.
我听那个爆炸的声音特别特别的清晰，特别特别的震耳，就在我旁边。为什么那会儿我就怕了嘛？因为离我太近了，那个爆炸的声音。进入中国领空的时候也是非常激动的，终于回到祖国了，踏实了。但是啊，心里还是会惦记那边，还是担心那边的人。
Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. After this, we're moving on. I have 2 more clips.
So good to be home. It was unreal. It was very unreal. I mean, you see these things on television, you see them in movies, but you just don't think you'll end up there yourself. You know, you're coming home from a holiday. Thank you very much. Thank you for everything. We got home. Everyone clapped when the plane landed and we all cheered. It was just unreal. Yeah, magic. We only got very short notice, you know, we had to grab our bags and then go, you know. So it's just, I don't know what else to say.
It was pretty awful for the first 24 hours because you just didn't know what was happening, and there was a lot of noises that you were not used to, and a national alarm in the middle of the night that woke us all up on our mobile phones. So it was very frightening.
I was actually in the airport when the explosion happened on Saturday night, so we got evacuated from there, so that was pretty tough, yeah.
I can tell you right now, I probably would have just been so annoyed. But, you know, I don't have to worry about that because I wouldn't be going to those countries anyway. And here's the thing. If you ask me, Black folk, y'all need to stop running over to Dubai because have you guys heard how they have these, this is all alleged, but I read just a few days ago that over in Dubai, they pretty much have these Black women forcing them into trafficking. Have you all heard that? They said that's what's going on over there in Dubai. Okay, and that's just what I read. Honey.
These countries, y'all need to get out. And guess what? I already heard on the news that people who are in those countries and was ready to come home because it wasn't warned. Because the war was not approved by Congress and nobody, and the president just decided he's just going to do this on his own. He basically stranded a lot of our citizens in those places who was ready to try to come back home. Now they can't go to the embassy and there's no flights to get out because there was no warning. Because normally they'd be like, all Americans come home because we're about to start a war. They didn't do that this time. So people who had hotel rooms and all that, who had Airbnbs and all these places, that's not in their hotels no more. Now they sleeping in the airport and sleeping on the streets and all kinds of crazy stuff like that because they don't know where to go, and everywhere around them is getting bumped. If y'all in any of these countries, y'all need to get out. And guess what?
So they were talking about Dubai and the UAE with the trafficking of people, specifically Black women. Okay, maybe I'll do a report on that one of these days. But I wouldn't be going over there. Sorry, I just wouldn't do it. You can go over there and visit. You might end up being trafficked yourself. This is what you'll never see Trump doing. Okay? You'll never see Trump doing this, period.
Perfectly shows how the Trump administration started a war with Iran and then is doing nothing to evacuate citizens stranded in the area. Trump MAGA State Department. The U.S. Embassy is not in a position at this time to evacuate or directly assist Americans in departing Israel. Where is Kash Patel's private taxpayer-paid plane? MAGA isn't going to do a thing to help people who are stranded. The United States started a war with Iran without any warning, meaning that U.S. citizens in the area were not warned about what was going to happen and weren't able to evacuate before. In retaliation to these attacks, Iran started attacking civilian airports, which has stranded hundreds of thousands of people in the region. And it was only after the attacks that the U.S. government started to tell people in the region to leave. And the messaging since then has been putting a lot of pressure on people to book a flight out, reiterating again and again to take a commercial flight. Buy your own way home from these airports, a lot of them closed. It is also becoming harder for people who are stranded to reach U.S. embassies because they're being closed out of an abundance of caution or they're being struck by Iranian missiles. So inadvertently, Donald Trump is about to show a lot of U.S. citizens how difficult the immigration system really is, because a lot of people there are on a tourist visa and they only have a certain amount of days to be able to be there. And who knows how long this war is going to drag on and how long the airports are going to be closed. A lot of U.S. citizens might have to start making immigration decisions they thought they never have to make. Will they overstay their visa and possibly become undocumented? Will they have to leave that country and maybe go to another country and try to present their papers at their border and hopefully they can get into that country? While all of this is happening, the U.S. government is tweeting out, hey, find your own way home. Here's a number to a bus service in Israel. And by the way, it might not even be free. The U.S. government isn't even guaranteeing that they're going to pay for bus services to get people to safe areas. That's why this tweet perfectly represents what's happening right now. The Trump administration starts a war and leaves people stranded, and they do absolutely nothing to help people while they fly around their private jet. Share this so people can.
Not a bus. Did y'all hear that? Honey, done saw those people done tweet. They're going to tweet and tell the people to catch a bus. Not a bus. This is all sad. Okay, I cannot. One box said all of those folks must be Democrats. Okay, honey, not telling them what bus to get. This is sad, honey. This is all sad. But hold up, because listen to what Kim Jong-un said about his people, honey. Listen to what he said about his people being over there. He was not playing any games. Too bad this isn't Trump's ideology.
My citizens are in Iran. Their return is non-negotiable. If one of them is harmed, I will join the war without hesitation. This is the type of time he on. He ready to press that button. Kim Jong-un, whatever you say his name, he ready to press that button, man.
Okay, y'all hear what he said? Did y'all hear what Kim Jong-un said? My citizens are in Iran. Their return is not negotiable. If even one of them is harmed, I will join the war without hesitation. Y'all heard it.
I'm telling y'all right now, it's gonna get wicked. I just hope I don't wake up to some shit. Cause right now.
All nefarious. Okay, I know I told you I had two more, but I forgot I had all this in my arsenal of receipts. So let's just go to this last one. This report from CBS.
Million American citizens across the Middle East right now, many of them finding zero way out. Now, not everybody is trying to leave, but those who are, it has become clear, are not getting much help from their government.
As the U.S. and Israel conduct their war against Iran, the Trump administration finds itself tonight waging another battle, facing criticism over Americans stranded in the conflict zone.
The State Department has been very clear to the American people traveling within this region not to travel to these regions.
The State Department says it has helped 6,500 U.S. citizens leave. Another 10,000 got out on their own. And charter flights are being organized, but it's unclear if any have arrived yet. The Netherlands, Spain, and Bulgaria have mustered repatriation flights. Among those stuck in Israel, Todd and Lisa Eggleston from Las Vegas, arriving 2 days before the war broke out.
All of a sudden, this loud siren goes off on my phone. That's just scared us to death. And I look down on it, and it's like, you need to seek shelter.
They've had little sleep, running in and out of bomb shelters every night.
You've been actually sleeping in your clothes every night.
Yeah, I mean, not our shoes, though, just our clothes, yeah.
Like many in the region, the Egglestons sought help from the U.S. government, but automated messages told them they were essentially on their own.
You sit on hold, let you sit on hold for about 10 minutes, and then it hangs up.
Tonight, the White House is insisting it's solved the problem.
Well, the line was updated, and I expect every single person in this room to report on that accurately.
We called that helpline over a dozen times.
And it hung up. So that's the second time in a row. This happens virtually every time you call. It goes to that automated message and then disconnects.
And while the Egglestons are being patient, they just want to get home.
We know that they've gotten some people out of some other countries, and we understand all that. I just don't want to be here for 3 weeks, and we will seek other means to get out if it gets to that point.
So the Egglestons were able to rebook a flight on Delta, but for March 24th. And now with the administration saying that this war could last 8 weeks, Tony, you can be sure that those flights will also be canceled, meaning that tourists across the region will be forced to eat all these additional costs of these prolonged stays.
Those bills get big very fast. Matt, thank you very much.
I absolutely cannot imagine. Do y'all hear this? So it looks like he's going to have to be there for 3 more weeks because the flight's booked for the 24th. Okay, that's like 20 days from now. I absolutely could not. Okay, Nessa G called her a lying witch. Okay, exactly. So, all she's doing. Nice M10K said, girl, sit down. Quit trying to tell the media what to report or say. Do your job correctly, Carolyn. Exactly. Sitting there talking about, I expect everyone in this room to report that. Girl, the man sat there and called the darn number and hung up. Okay, and he called more than once. These people just lied to be lying at this point. But hold on, because I thought this was interesting, beloveds. So Trump's administration leaked the war plans in a restaurant, clearly, because Mr. Mark Garagos was on the podcast with Harvey Levin of TMZ, their podcast, Two Angry Men, and he was at a restaurant when they were on the call or when they were doing the podcast. And so he basically was talking about the war being started. This was before the war got started. How do you know? Well, because like I said, somebody leaked. Oh, and speaking of leaked, we got to talk about these young GOP Republicans, okay? These young GOPs who were talking slick about Black folk. All right, let's get into that afterwards. I almost forgot about that.
A video now of attorney Mark Garagos appearing on TMZ with Harvey Levin. And this was before the bombing of Iran started. Garagos Skypes in to his podcast with Harvey Levin from Joe's Stone Crab in Washington, D.C., and says that there were people in there saying the U.S. is bombing Iran that night. Understand that if this is true, this is Signalgate on steroids. This is people in the know, presumably Trump administration officials, at a restaurant loudly bragging, we're going to bomb Iran. Here is lawyer Mark Garagos at 3:45 p.m. Eastern on Friday. Okay, this is before the bombing. Listen to this.
Where are you?
Hold on, let me get my overlay. I don't need any copyright claims. Hold on, beloveds. Okay, there we go.
Washington, D.C., Joe's Stone Crab.
Could you have picked a more crowded restaurant?
No. And in fact, if I were to tell you what I was overhearing at the next table, you'd die.
Oh, I think I'm going to ask you that. Okay, here we go. You're in Washington, D.C. You could have gone to a million places to do a podcast where it was calm, and you choose Joe's Stone Crab.
Correct. And by the way, do you know why? Because I actually was going to leave, but the conversation that I was overhearing on the next table over was so fascinating, I couldn't leave.
Oh, spill it. Spill it.
I think things are happening by the time this drops in Iran is what I'll leave it at that.
You're kidding me. Somebody from the government was next to you?
I'm just going to leave it at that.
No.
By the way, my meal is getting cold.
I don't care. I'll buy you another meal. What did they say?
that today is the day. Friday is we're sitting here.
Are you serious?
I literally just heard it at the next table. So I'll leave it at that.
Holy crap.
Yeah. It's wild where the times we're living in.
Oh my God.
I'll see you next week, Harvey. Thank you.
Bye, Mark.
Bye-bye.
Wow. Can you imagine? This was all happening loud enough for Mark Garagos to hear it. Who else heard it? It's Washington, D.C. There are intelligence operatives of all kinds everywhere. Some friendly, some not so friendly. This was 3:45 p.m. Eastern. Now, why is that relevant? The bombing of Iran, the strikes, were announced nearly 12 hours later at 2:30 a.m. from Mar-a-Lago. If it is true that there were people in the know, presumably from the Trump administration, we don't know whether that means White House or Department of Defense or what. If it is true that they were inside Joe's Stone Crab talking about this, it is a catastrophic operational security.
Yeah, it is. And let me tell you all something. That's exactly what I was talking about when I showed you all that map. That's why I kept pointing out that map, because they're just leaking stuff and don't even realize how incompetent and stupid they are. These people are insidiously obtuse. Now, with that all being said, Ryder says, Queen, remember when you told us about the other guy who leaked sensitive government info on WhatsApp or Telegram? Yes. Okay. Chatgate is what they were calling it. Okay. The reporter got the information. I think his name was Jeffrey Greenberg or Goldberg or something like that. And he let them know what they had done. These people are just ridiculous. Okay. And then they have done that another time too. I can't remember exactly when that was, but let's talk about, speaking of leaks, let's talk about these young GOP members. Now I'm going to go first to when they did this 4 months ago, back in October. Okay. It was around October. Politico exposed racist messages sent by young Republican leaders. So let's get into it, because this is a whole nother different story that's happened as of late. This was reported today.
Shared in a group chat of young Republicans is revealing some racist thoughts that they even worried about being leaked. Well, those exchanges have been leaked, obtained by Politico, and are part of a Telegram chat among young Republican leaders in the following states: New York, Kansas, Arizona, and Vermont. New York State politics reporter Jason Bieferman is one of the journalists who wrote about this for Politico. Jason, tell us about this story, how it came to you, and what was exchanged in these Telegram messages based on what your reporting has revealed.
Politico obtained over 7 months of thousands and thousands of messages in a Telegram group chat between, like you said, leaders in the young Republican state or.
Okay, I'm not going to play that whole thing because I already reported on that months ago when it first happened. But the reason I brought it up is so that when I reported on this incident, which clearly happened in Miami, that no one will be confused and you'll know that, yes, they did it again. This is an entirely different situation, okay? An entirely different situation. Florida Republicans group chat underscored the GOP's Nazi problem. Okay, the Miami Herald revealed a group chat in which young conservatives discussed killing Black people. Yeah, that's what they said. Killing Black people and spewed other extremist rhetoric. But you see how Fox News wants to act like the left is full of violence, political violence. They want to act like, Frederick Haynes, Jasmine Crockett's supposed replacement, is radical because of his views. He said nothing about violence. He just said things they don't like. Okay, so now let's get into it. Because I have the report. Yeah, talking about killing Black people. Please pay attention. Okay, the nerve of it all.
Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. The modern Republican Party under Donald Trump is an increasingly extreme organization. It's trafficked in some of the worst, most disgusting, hateful bigotry, racism, anti-Semitism. It's been part of their public pronouncements, and we're learning it's even worse behind closed doors. Just yesterday, Politico published some private chat messages from about a dozen leaders of the young Republican group across the country. MSNBC has not independently verified those chats, but Politico's reporting revealed a culture where racist, anti-Semitic, and violent rhetoric circulate freely. This was horrible, gross stuff. And it didn't happen in a vacuum. I mean, the rhetoric here is a core part of the formation of an entire subsection, a whole MAGA-centric cohort of conservatives. And when the news of these chats broke yesterday, you saw a really interesting dynamic playing out. So some Republicans, different levels in different parts of the country, did, I think, the natural thing, which was move to condemn what they read, condemn the chat members. Many of the people on that chat were fired or had job offers rescinded. The Black Conservative Federation, for instance, said, quote, "Let us be absolutely clear. Racism is not conservatism. Bigotry, hatred, and moral rot dressed up as jokes or free speech are the very evils that our movement must reject with moral clarity." The group called on every Republican leader, from national figures to grassroots activists, to denounce this behavior without hesitation or excuse. And again, to be fair, many Republicans were doing that until yesterday into today, when someone rode in to stop them. When Trump's vice president said, "Quit it, leave the kids alone." J.D. Vance is himself a creature of this extremely online right-wing underworld.
Now, let me just remind you that when this happened the last time, it was also J.D. Vance who came to the rescue and said again, leave them alone. Basically saying they're just young boys, okay? Trying to dismiss the nefariousness of it all. He did the same thing then. Okay, but let's continue.
Wonders what's in his chats, where he gained notoriety last year for following lots of white supremacist accounts, including a self-proclaimed historian who praised Hitler and claimed that Winston Churchill was the chief villain of World War II. He still follows those accounts to this day, and maybe he just likes to read widely. Today, Vice President J.D. Vance did the thing that he always does. It's the, oh, just get over it approach.
By focusing on what kids are saying in a group chat, grow up. I'm sorry. Focus on the real issues. Don't focus on what kids say in group chats. If you put something in a group chat, assume that some scumbag is going to leak it in an effort to try to cause you harm or cause your family harm. But the reality is that kids do stupid things.
Now, mind you, these are all grown men over the age of 21, I do believe. And also, he said, he's warning them, saying that just know that if you put something in a group chat, some scumbag is likely going to leak it to cause you and your family harm. So he's taking up for them, defending them, calling anyone who calls them out a scumbag. I'm sorry, they're the scumbags, and so is he. Okay?
Especially young boys, they tell edgy, offensive jokes. Like, that's what kids do.
That's what kids do.
Calling people jickers with an N is jokes. Okay.
Kids, young boys tell edgy jokes. Now, just to be clear, the members of the Young Republicans are not 9 years old, and they are not 15 or 16. In fact, they range in age from 18 to 40. J.D. Vance is 41. The people in this chat weren't young boys. They weren't kids. They were career Republican political operatives in their mid-20s and mid-30s, otherwise known as adults or grown-ups or fully formed moral agents responsible for their actions. Like Peter Junta, he's one of them. Until today, he was the chief of staff for New York Republican state legislator Michael Riley. Junta worked for the assemblyman for 5 years. When the chair of the Arizona Young Republicans asked if the New Yorkers in the chat were watching an NBA playoff game, Junta responded, "I'd go to the zoo if I wanted to watch monkey play ball." Not a child, not a young kid, a grown man. And again, he chose to say that. That's his right in America. You can say that. He also ridiculed Black people, Indian women, female and non-white pilots, and wrote, quote, "I love Hitler." He threatened that anyone who voted against him in an upcoming election is, quote, "going to the gas chamber." Again, J.D. Vance thinks he's a young boy or a kid and that these are edgy jokes. Junta has since been fired. He has also apologized, said the chats were released by a rival as part of character assassination. Then you got William.
He apologized and said it was leaked by a rival as character assassination. Honey, but you said it, though. Doesn't matter who leaked it or why. You said what you said. Is that supposed to make it any better or make him less culpable? These people are idiots, okay? Racist people are always going to be idiots and stupid, okay? I want you to pay attention. No racist person on the planet has any critical thinking skills. They are just fools. But let's continue.
Hendricks, that's the Kansas Young Republicans vice chair. At 24, he was one of the youngest chat members. Again, 24, grown adult. Now, Politico says Hendricks used variations of the N-word more than a dozen times in those chats. Hendrick also used an anti-gay slur, deployed racist expressions we won't repeat here. He was also a full-time communications assistant for Kansas Republican Attorney General Chris Kobach until...
Now, I find it all interesting that this man sitting here looking like Orca, the killer whale himself, had the nerve to be talking down about Black folk. I want you all to pay attention. These people, it just behooves me. I mean, no, it just really just makes me wonder, what are they thinking? I mean, they really think they're superior and supreme? Look at him. I guarantee you he gets out of breath from walking from his bedroom to the refrigerator, but he wants to go in on Black folk? Make it all make sense. Make it all make sense. I mean, if I were him, I'd probably be hating on Black people too. I mean, just look at him. Clearly didn't come from a good stock, is all I'm saying.
He was fired yesterday. Hendricks didn't return Politico's request for comment. These guys are not alone. Other members include a sitting Vermont state senator. Turns out you can't elect little boys to be a state senator. This state senator suggested in the chat that non-white women didn't bathe. And a Catholic high school counselor who responded to a gas chamber remark with the retort, quote, "I'm ready to watch people burn now."
Hold up. Did he say non-white people or non-white women don't bathe? When we have all of these Karens and Beckys coming on the internet saying out of their own mouths that they don't bathe, that they only bathe once a week, that they don't wash their legs, they let the water run down, that they don't use washcloths. I mean, I'm sorry. The hate is real. But let's continue.
She has since lost her job as a counselor. Again, these are the people J.D. Vance went to bat for today. Adults, grown-ups, people who work in politics. The whole point here is to send the message from J.D. Vance. This behavior is good, fine, actually encouraged. It's part of what defines you as part of this in-group, like being an edgy edgelord who makes offensive jokes. That it will be defended by Republicans in the absolute highest offices. Not by Democrats like New York Governor Kathy Hochul, who we'll be hearing from later in the show.
Some bad apples. These are the future of the Republican Party. This was so vile. It is hard to find the words to put into context. This is not one person saying they love Hitler. This is a whole lot of people saying things that are so disgusting and so abhorrent that everybody from the president on down should condemn them. There needs to be consequences. This bull has to stop.
I happen to agree. The problem is...
Then she walked off like she was so infuriated. Y'all see it?
This is part of the ideological formation of the new MAGA vanguard to kind of just soak your brain, right? marinated in the most extremist, discredited, destructive views in all of human history, right? Start with flirting with ultra ideas like maybe Hitler had a point. Then you're just kind of playing around with outright Nazism. And then before you know it, maybe it's not so ironic anymore. In fact, on that topic, this is kind of an odd one. Today, a Nazi swastika superimposed on an American flag was found displayed on a bulletin board in a Republican congressman's office in Capitol Hill. And according to Politico, that swastika you see there was visible participants in an online meeting on the cubicle wall behind a congressional staffer for Republican Congressman Dave Taylor of Ohio. The staffer has not responded to requests for comment. A spokesperson for Taylor said the congressman believed the swastika ended up in his office as a result of, quote, foul play or vandalism, and he called for the Capitol Police to investigate. We'll let you know if they crack the case on that one.
So he said the police need to investigate as if he didn't have any idea. Hold up. Okay, I am sitting up here laughing because Trisha said Gilbert Grape's mama looking arse. Did y'all see Gilbert? What's eating Gilbert Grape with Johnny? Wasn't that Johnny Depp and oh my God, what's the guy's name? What's the guy's name from Titanic? The guy from Titanic. Why can't I think of his name? And I know him so well. Leonardo DiCaprio. Did y'all see that movie? That was a good movie. I really liked it. But know that you did not say liberal. You said Gilbert Grape's mama looking arse. I am done. Okay, I am done. Tradinia Morris at Queen and Royals, Rochester, New York, Northeast Side. All right, beloved. Shout out to you. Thank you for your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. And shout out to New York because I had a great time when I was there for the Diddy trial.
This stuff doesn't just permeate the culture of conservatism at this moment. It is the culture, by and large. These are J.D. Vance Republicans. And they are executing an agenda for Donald Trump that you can see when masked armed men grab non-white people off of American streets at the very same time that an army of lawyers are attempting to undo decades of civil rights laws and protections. You see it in the racist tropes being used in propaganda by Trump's Department of Homeland Security, including using terminology like invasion and cultural decline and remigration, a term that was coined by white supremacists in Europe to replace a more direct term, ethnic cleansing. You see it in new reporting by the New York Times today on a Trump plan for radical overhaul of the U.S. refugee system, one that would slash the program to its bare bones while giving preference to English speakers, white South Africans, and Europeans. Taking a program that exists to save lives of the most marginalized, at-risk people on earth and turning it into what Times calls Trump's vision of immigration to help mostly white people who say they're being persecuted while keeping the vast majority.
Yeah, and then those people now are saying they want to go right back to where they came from, okay? Now, let's go to this clip of what Denzel had to say some years ago. I think it was 2016. This is what Denzel said about the media. And it was no lies detected. Okay, no lies detected. Let me get my overlay really quick.
If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read it, you're misinformed.
So what do you do?
That's a great question. What is the long-term effect of too much information? One of the effects is the need to be first, not even to be true anymore. So what a responsibility you all have to tell the truth, not just to be first, but to tell the truth. We live in a society now where it's just first. Who cares? Get it out there. We don't care who it hurts. We don't care who we destroy. We don't care if it's true. Just say it, sell it. If you don't read the newspaper.
Yeah, that reminds me of wig number 2. Wig number 2 always wants to be first and get up there telling lies, doesn't have the facts straight or any of the rest of it. Now, with that all being said, listen. Now, I showed you all that video of the McDonald's CEO with that nasty looking burger called the Big Arch. I think that's the name of it. And he barely tasted it. I mean, it looked like he just bit a little piece of the bread, but because he knows what we all know about McDonald's at this point, allegedly. But so there seems to be a bit of a competition because now Wendy's has entered the chat, and Wendy's CEO has come in there and they've done a commercial, and then also A&W. Now I thought A&W only made root beer. But apparently they make burgers too, because also they came out with their own commercial. So let's watch both of these, the A&W and the Wendy's, and see if they do the same bullshit that the guy from McDonald's did with his ridiculously disgusting looking burger. Okay, let's get into it. Like, sub, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
From A&W here with, you heard about it. Here it is, the Teen Burger. We love this burger product, which most people call a burger. I'm going to do a tasting right now, but this is actually my lunch. So let's see what we got going on here. Look at that. It has a unique bread that some people would call a bun, but really the star is what's inside. I mean, we've got the lettuce, which is green, and pickles, which make it taste pickly, and the teen sauce. I
want y'all to pay attention because he's purposely trying to act like that fool that was doing the McDonald's commercial. But let's continue.
Iconic teen sauce. So this thing is packed. I'm sorry. That was a little, I don't even know how to attack it. I guess with my mouth. Here we go. Moment of truth. Oh, that's good. It's a little bit of bacon. That is a big bite of a teen burger. And they're just $4.99 from now until March 11th. So go to A&W and get a teen burger when you can. And Chris, I invite you to join me for lunch. Just you, me, and a couple of teen burgers. See you at lunch, Chris.
This must be the CEO for McDonald's that didn't even want to bite his own burger. But now let's take a look at Wendy's. Okay. Does Wendy have flame broiled or charbroiled burgers? I forget.
Or we got a human burger contest going on. Whitney's had entered the chat, y'all. And they CEO, he went a little bit further. Y'all let me know as he convincing for y'all to go shop and eat his burgers.
I'm Pete. I thought I'd come down to our kitchen here at Wendy's to try Baconator today. Of course, we're starting with our Wendy's square patty, fresh, never frozen beef. Absolutely nothing better. Oh, of course, you got to have a Frosty with a burger. Is this set up today? Oh, wait, our machines are always working.
Okay.
I've been waiting for this all day. Wendy's fresh, never frozen beef, our Applewood smoked bacon, our brand new bun, our square burger cooked on a flat grill. Amazing. Absolutely wonderful.
Meat.
That's a burger.
No lettuce.
This is exactly the way a great hamburger should be.
CEO Pete, he just showed y'all how to cook his patty. You feel me? He patted it up. He said, you know what? I don't need no Sprite. I need a Frosty. We know when you go to Wendy's, you need a Frosty with the fries and everything, right? Not only that, he had all meat. Pause. You ain't even see no lettuce. He didn't take one bite. He took 3 big bites, half of the sandwich gone. Now, Pete, you ain't slick. It's in a jar.
This
No
is
swallow.
exactly the way a great hamburger should be.
Now, Wendy's, y'all try to pull a slick one. Y'all niggas ain't even finishing the video. Show us a video of y'all swallowing the burger. You just went, you spit it out, and then you went, this is a great burger. I was with you. But you did go further, so you are in the lead. Now you got In-N-Out. Y'all need to step in. You have Rallies. You need to step in. Smash Burgers. Habit Burgers. Five Guys. Coney Island. You need to step in. This is y'all time to shine. Now, CEOs, when y'all get up here on these cameras, we need to see y'all bite it, eat it, swallow, and then talk to us. Don't cut nothing. This free promo for y'all niggas. Hey.
So what do y'all think? What do y'all think? Okay. I don't eat any of those things, but if I did, I probably would have had to go with Wendy's for the win. All right. So that all being said, I guess we're about to be out of here, beloveds. Let me show y'all one thing real quick. Let me show you all one thing real quick, okay? Where is it? Here we go. I bet y'all never thought about this. Now, this white guy came out and said that black slang is just white terms flipped in the opposite direction, basically. Okay, I want y'all to listen to this and tell me what y'all think. I've never thought about it, but hold on. Hold on, I'm going to share my screen. Queen Ahmadiyyah said, I don't eat any of that junk, okay? Absolutely not. Now, I have eaten it in the past.
Oh.
Hold on.
Black slang is just white phrases, but opposite. Watch this. White people. Wow, she looks really good. Black people. Damn, she's bad. White people. Sure, I'm up for that. Black people. Yeah, I'm down. White people. Tell me more about this plan. Black people. Bet. Say less. White people. I'm in. Black folks. We out. White people. You messing with the wrong one, buddy. Black folks. You got the right one today. White folks. That's so cool. Black folks. That shit's fire. Black slang is just white phrases, but opposite.
You ever thought about that? Have y'all ever thought about that? I thought that was very interesting. RayCyst said, thank you, Queen. I was really looking forward to this broadcast. Thank you, beloved. Thank you. Now, what do y'all say about that? That was interesting to me because it is like totally the opposite. It is like totally the opposite. I never even paid attention to that. Okay, so anyway, with that all being said, I'm out of here. I hope you all enjoyed the broadcast. I will be back tomorrow, but not in the morning. Don't forget, don't be looking for me. Okay, I told you I have a business meeting at about 10:30. So I will be back, and plus it's late. It's 11 o'clock already. So I will be back tomorrow afternoon, probably around 12:30 or 1. Make it closer to 1. Okay, so until next time, beloveds, I hope you all enjoy the rest of this night. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember to keep the Most High first in your lives. And also, if you have not subscribed to the backup channel, okay, the Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show, please make, or the Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur TV show, please make sure you subscribe to that channel in case anything happens to this channel. We'll be on there. Don't forget that I literally go live every day, Monday through Friday, and sometimes on the weekends. Okay, but I'm here every day, Monday through Friday, come rain, sleet, or snow. All right, so until next time, beloveds, I love you all to life, and I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm